Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Yesterday night, or in the evening for me in New Zealand, it was like somewhere 10 in the morning or something. They opened the gates for the Ruthless mode, which is the hard mode of PoE, the future one basically. And this is in alpha mode, right? And I'm happy to got access to the alpha mode, and I'm able to stream it. And yeah, I did my first couple steps into it. So I was like playing the last, like, I think like 3 hours or something, nothing too crazy. And I'm currently somewhere in Act 2. And you know, the thing is, talking about Ruthless and actually experiencing Ruthless is two different parts. And I made already a video where they announced the Ruthless mode. We went over the stuff that is, you know, quick form is like the hard mode of PoE, where like a lot of things are just not accessible. For example, you don't have support gems. That's like the first thing that yeah, how you say, where you kind of smile if you hear like, yo, imagine having no support gems and you need to find your support gems. Now, after almost being done with 2 acts, I still haven't found a support gem. Okay, so I'm running currently, this is like Flame Ball, Blazing Salvo. So the best way for me playing right now is actually of just stacking like kind of dots and try to like stack one links more or less, right? I have your Cold Snap, I have Flame Wall. I was playing with Fireball until I just dropped this rare Claw. And I also found Spectral Helix on the floor, so this is the only gem that I found so far, Spectral Helix. And since I found a rare weapon, and trust me guys, rare weapons are actually freaking rare. Now I decided to go with some Spectral Helix just because of it. Because the thing is, like, I plan to play an Ignite build, okay? Like, I love my Ignite builds. I also made my tree. I got like early overload, you know, I just backed into my first dot multi-nodes and stuff. But yeah, I found this claw, so now I'm playing Spectral Helix, kind of Elementalist. The thing is, like, you have to understand, this is hard mode. That means, I don't know, like, the loot is nerfed. Okay, the loot feels kind of the same as Calandra. No, actually, jokes aside, it's very bad. Okay, so just to show you my stash tab, this is a new account on the alpha server. Okay, this is all I found in the first 2 acts, basically, right? There is nothing else here. Is like a freaking rare jewel that, or a normal jewel that maybe at some point, if I get more than 1 alteration, that I could potentially in the future craft life or resistance or something like that. It's absolutely brutal, and I think me having an Orb of Alchemy, I have not seen any other streamer having an Orb of Alchemy, so you know, this thing is actually rare as hell. So the chromatic orbs were from like white items from the chromatic orb recipe, basically by vendoring that things, right? So as I said, yes, you don't have access to support gems. A lot of like vendor recipes are gone. You don't even want to buy anything from the vendor, basically, just because they cost like transmutes and alterations sometimes when it's magic. You don't want to spend the currency because you only have 1 alteration, right? So I would say let's go and do like the Northern Forest, which is currently the stage where I am. You get less experience. You have less experience on your gems overall, right? It's just very, very brutal. I read through some other things that are going to apply in this Ruthless mode. For example, you only will have access to 6 Ascendancy points instead of 8. So the Uber Labyrinth will not give you any. There are no movement skills. So a lot of gem quest rewards are removed. So you don't get any rewards, or the quests are missing, I don't know. For example, I'm almost done with Act 2. I'm not entirely 100% sure where I got like Herald of Ash or something. But as far as I know, I should already have obtained it, but I didn't. So there was like, this quest was no reward, for example, right? There is a quest in Act 2 where you get like a couple support gems, like I think Vicious Projectiles, and so it just doesn't exist. The only support gems that you can get are the ones that you're literally finding on the floor. And as I said, at the moment I'm playing like a Flame Wall, Spectral Helix, what is this? Cold Snap, Blazing Salvo kind of build. And you're gonna notice that the monsters are just not dropping anything. You know, it's really ridiculous. In the start, I was actually farming white items, or at least I picked up every white item because I said, like, you know what? I need to sell those to get scroll fragments to actually get wisdom scrolls. until I realized there is no point of picking up or farming wisdom scrolls, because you don't get rare items to actually identify. You know, it's like a complete different world. Like these 2 wisdom scrolls that I just picked up, they're gonna probably last for the end of Act 2, because I found like maybe 5 rare items in total. The most of my gear is like blue or white in some cases. You know, like this ring is just white. This one is rarity on it. This was super lucky drop, and this one here is decent as well. I mean, at least it has some strength and some form of life regen. You know, it's just very bad, and you have to spend a lot of time trying to do things here, right? So here is a unique monster. So flame walls, cold snap, get some weird projectiles. I so freaking hate this skill, Spectra Helix. There is so many people saying Spectra Helix is insane, but I'm just not a friend of it. It still is the best thing I could do, you know. I know that I could technically just make a duelist and maybe get like double strike, or maybe the marauder with like heavy strike, or, you know, I don't know. Everything is possible. At least I still hope that I somehow get to the first act, and if I'm able to beat Isaro, which I think might be kind of interesting, just because I will most likely gonna try to kill him on a 1-link, because I still haven't got a support gem, and even if I find a support gem, who says that it's gonna be a support gem that I need? What if I find like chance to poison, or chance to bleed, or, you know, anything that doesn't have to do anything with the build that I want to play? Absolutely no sign of any unique item whatsoever. But in the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. So if some, like, people said, like, yo, imagine you find a tabby early on. Like, yeah, imagine. And what do I do then? A tabby is worse than this chest, just because, yeah, it's a 6-link, but if you don't have support gems, like, no, that's, like, awesome. Like, what you gonna do with it? But overall, I think the experience is super fun for some reason. And I don't know if this is fun because it is actually fun, or does the fun come from the frustration part, more or less, you know? It's kind of ridiculous. When it comes to the progression, I think Act 1 was fine. You know, you don't need like 2 or 3 links to finish Act 1. And by the way, if you think like, yo, wait a second, in the Twilight Strand, on the way to Hillock, you get your first support gem. Like, on the Witch, it's like you start with Fireball, you get a Cane Surge. Nope, the box is not there. You don't get a Cane Surge. Otherwise, I would use it, right? But yeah, rare monsters, bosses, unique monsters, they feel like actually encounters, because you just don't have damage, right? But I want to say again, this is not a gauntlet, so the monsters are the same as always, right? They don't have any modifiers or so. But the problem is the player power is just not there. You know, all you can do is like try to get some kind of damage on your tree or whatever, and just hope that you find something. Like, don't ask me how to farm support gems. I don't know. I've never been in a situation in my entire PoE life that I was forced to farm a support gem, right? It's just a complete other way of thinking, and I'm pretty sure, and I think a Topaz Flask actually pretty nice. What was I about to say? I'm pretty sure it's gonna get a lot worse the more acts we go, because as I said, Act 1, not really a problem. You know, Act 2, it's okay, I would say. I mean, now if I'm, since I'm stacking like 1 links, we still could probably have enough damage. But if we go further and we say like, yo, let's go Act 3, Act 4, you know, if I still don't have a support gem, I'm gonna be so freaking blocked. I just don't see the point where I could actually defeat bosses, because they're gonna restore more life over time than I actually be able to do damage, right? And if I get to this point, I'm like, how the hell do I actually farm a support gem? The majority of vendor recipes are not there, and like, you don't have a crafting bench, for example, right? So if I go to the hideout that I just unlocked, because this is a new account on the alpha server, you have a stash, you have your waypoint, and you have like your map device for later on. If you go to decorations, there is a crafting bench, but you just cannot place it somewhere, right? So this game mode is just complete torture, but I still think is kind of fun, and I'm looking forward tomorrow, and we're gonna probably keep on playing Ruthless mode until Dragonflight releases next week, Monday midnight or Tuesday or something, right? So I'm gonna keep on playing that just to figure out, and I'll keep you guys updated. Maybe I'm gonna be hard stuck in Act 3 or 4. Maybe I make it to Act 5 or even to maps. I have no idea. It's just like what do we find, and you just have to make the best out of whatever you find, right? As I say again, I just found a nice claw, so you know it has nice cold damage on it, so let's just play like Spectre Helix, because this is overall dealing more damage in combination with Flame Ball as my Fireball. As said, when I get to Labs, if I'm able to do it, then obviously Shaper of Flames, then I'm gonna play Ignite regardless, because then I don't have to worry about chance to ignite and all these kind of things. But it's gonna be very, very interesting. I just want to give you guys a small little update on the first couple steps, and it is brutal. That's all I can say. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.